What is the deal, Support Squad? I am here with Terran Davis. I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself to the folk.
Okay. What's up, everybody? My name is Terran Davis. I am an up-and-coming senior at the Michigan State University, majoring in Human Development and Family Studies. This summer, my plans include going to Flint, Michigan, on an internship for my HCFS major. I'm going to be working alongside some nonprofits up there, just helping with community revitalization in Flint and just, helping, build up the community with everything that's been going on in the news and things like that.
Y'all hear all that intelligence? Look, the Michigan State. Y'all ain't even here. All right, so I know this is mainly, Support My City isn't too Detroit-based, but I'm from Detroit, so that's where it started. But where are you from?
Okay, so I'm originally from Taylor, Michigan, but right now I relocated. I live in Romulus, Michigan as of yet. So I was a little hesitant when you reached out to me to do the interview because I was like, I didn't want to take away from anybody, from the city, and that's not really, where I'm from and my culture. That. But, I really do appreciate the platform and the opportunity.
But you see the slogan, though. You got to know the slogan. First Detroit, then the world. So we started with Detroit. Now we in Romulus, you feel me?
Look, I'm here
and Taylor, because you versatile with it. So first Detroit, then Romulus, then Taylor, then the world.
In the world.
Look at that. All right, so we're going to hop straight into it because you're doing some beautiful things out here. So your microaggression campaign. Yes. Could you explain to the people what microaggression is for those who don't know, and then explain your campaign?
Okay, so for those of you who do not know, microaggression is basically just like a very subtle, a very slight form of prejudice. It's basically just a way for people to, display their prejudice. So prejudice is something that that we all have. We're all born, being biased and favoring certain things, not favoring other things. But then it's different when we actually choose to act on those biases that we all hold inside and hold those against people with our actions. So those are when the microaggressions come into play. They're kind of subtle. People really don't tend to know when they happen. So an example can be you're cute for a black girl. So it's kind of it's kind of like backhanded compliments in a way. So, with us going to PWIs and, us being people of color, I felt that this was something that a lot of people deal with on a day-to-day basis. And I kind of wanted to bring light to the situation and also, educate people about it more and how they can, prepare themselves, if they ever find themselves in a situation like that. So that's how I started the microaggression campaign with the Residence House Association.
Have you ever heard of the compliment sandwich? Like somebody say something good, then they say something bad, then they say something else good. Compliment sandwich. Kind of like what you said, you cute for a black girl, but I like it. Yeah. Like that type of thing. Like they bust two compliments, but put something negative in the middle, so it mess you up psychologically. So you think they just gave you a compliment, but really it wasn't. It was just compliment sandwich.
Yeah, so it's basically that kind of thing, and I feel like it's also important to understand that a lot of times when people do stuff like that, it's not they're really not even aware of it. Sometimes it's not very explicit, it's just very unconscious. But it's really important for us to have conversations like this, so then people can be aware and they can wake up. It's I was really trying to give this person a compliment, but maybe some of the beliefs that I had inside kind of they could have took it this way, they could have took it that way. So I feel like it's just all about awareness at the end of the day.
Facts. Important topics that we need to talk about. Yeah. So how did you come up with the campaign? What inspired you to start it?
So initially, it actually was not my idea. I had previously had a position this past year with the Residence House Association as the Director of Racial, Ethnic, and Progressive Affairs, just dealing with diversity and inclusion on campus. And my predecessor, he actually had the idea, and he gave me the idea for the campaign, and he was already doing work on the campaign, trying to raise awareness, but I kind of wanted to shift that and kind of elevate it and kind of throw my own little spin on it. So instead of just focusing on race and ethnicity and the microaggressions that come in on that, I kind of wanted to focus on more broader themes as well, touch more people. So I wanted to get gender as well as in there. I want to get sexuality in there, just all things, that things that people tackle on a day-to-day basis, just not the color of their skin. So
I feel that. So how do you spread your campaign? How do you get it out to the people?
Basically right now I just have a Facebook group, a Facebook page where people can come on and they can learn more about microaggressions.
That will be in the description box.
Yes, please. And I also am a big person about just getting people involved. I feel like a lot of times when people do campaigns, they kind of have the face of the campaign, or they kind of have this person that's kind of over the top. But I feel like when you're tackling issues like this, it's important to the communities involved as well. So I really rely a lot on participation from other people, just being vulnerable, sharing their stories, you know, because I'm only one person. I have a very limited perspective, and there's only so much that I can say. But once I bring other people in, you know, for photo shoots or to just come in and share their stories about their background and their experiences, then I feel like that's really where the campaign really transcends, and like where it really, you know, can grasp a hold of attention of a lot of people. So.
How many people are a part of the Facebook group, or do you know?
I actually do not know. I actually haven't checked.
Okay. See, it's growing so fast. You don't even know. Okay.
But I have been happy with like the just the overall feeling that I've been getting just from people that have participated in the campaign. Just you know, taking pictures and sharing stories. You know, being at a PWI and being people of color and their experiences, and just giving them that platform to kind of, you know, be vulnerable and open themselves up and have other people relate to them. I'm really happy with the outcome. So,
all right, can you explain what PWI mean for those who don't know? Because I know what it means, but I don't know if everybody is hip to the lingo.
So basically, PWI stands for predominantly white institutions, and those where the majority of students are, you guessed it, white, and you know, people of color find ourselves as the minority. So,
right,
yeah.
All right, so that was just for anybody who didn't know what PWI meant, whoever's out there. So I'm glad you did bring up the racial, ethnic, and progressive affairs. Could you explain what that was? Because you did mention it.
Yeah. Okay, so basically as director of racial, ethnic, and progressive affairs on campus, my main goal and my main job was to work with courts and cops groups. So those are groups who mainly focus on racial and ethnic identities, as well as you know, non-salient identities that people deal with on a day-to-day basis, that you can't necessarily see, but you know, they exist within people. So whether that be like your sexuality, you know, your religious affiliation, and so on and so forth, those groups. So my main goal was to work with those groups on initiatives, you know, bring them together so that they can, you know, work together on different initiatives and, you know, help out campus, as well as the caucuses on campus, the Black caucuses, as well as the queer caucuses on campus.
Respect.
So those were my main roles.
So it's like really about inclusion. So it's not just one group of people, you included everybody in it, sort of type thing.
And that was
respect.
That's a big thing, I feel like, too, and I feel like that position really opened me up, because, you know, me being a black man, it was like, you know, I'm for the black community, you know, all day, every day, but then it opened my eyes and was like, wow, there's so many other people, you know, that may not identify the way that I identify, but, you know, their stories and the things that they go through in society are just as important as, you know, what I go through. So it's just as important for me to understand their struggles and, you know, be there to support them and uplift them as well. So that really opened my eyes.
Yeah, I feel like that's an important thing too, because black people are all for supporting black people until somebody says they're gay. And then you're like, oh, you against the gay community, but how can you be for the black community when there are gay black people? You see what I'm saying? Or like there are black people who identify as other religions. So like if you're against that religion, then you're against that black person. So then it's, how are you for all black people? So it's a lot of logistics with that. So respect. You got respect.
True. Yeah. That's true.
So if you're gonna be for black people, be for all black people.
Yeah, like, you know, being black is not a monolithic experience. We all come in many different shades, come in many different preferences, you know, many different interests, and you know, we still a community at the end of the day.
Gotta preach to the people. Yeah. I hope y'all listening. This public service announcement. I'm about to have to zoom in a minute, like, listen.
They're not ready.
Okay, so how do you want to impact the black community, like, overall? Like, what is the biggest thing you hope to accomplish?
The biggest thing I really want to accomplish is, you know, how we talked about the monolithic experience, getting people to realize that, you know, there's more than one way to be black. You know, like we have this, you know, idea of like, this is where we come from, this is our background, so all other people should abide by, you know, like our moral code, or, you know, what we feel like is right or wrong, or like what interests us. But then we have to wake up and realize that, you know, the black community, I just feel like, is very diverse and it's very beautiful, and I feel like it could be a very inclusive place if we just, you know, put the knowledge that we were learning, like, at these higher institutions, and we just put that to place into our everyday lives. So that's really what I want to get out of that. I just really want people to just wake up and realize that, hey, like, you know, just because, you know, my background doesn't look like your background, like, we can still be a part of this community together and support each other. So
listen to that. Y'all need to learn something around here. But all this talk about black unity and all that, you were voted Mr. Black MSU. Look at you. Got to put the hand claps in here. I seen all your pictures with your crown. I'm like, Okay, I'm gonna put your Instagram in the link so they can go ahead and check that out. Yeah, so how did Mr. Black MSU come about? Like, explain the process to me.
So it was back in the fall semester. They was having orientation dates for the platform. It's essentially a pageant, Mr. and Mrs. a scholarship pageant where people within the Black community on campus can go and like really use the platform to showcase who they are and also like their achievements on campus and just use that to better the community. So after hearing about that, I went to the informational and I wanted to learn more, and I really looked at it as like I was really up and down about it. Like I'm a Gemini, so I can be very decisive at times. So I was really up and down about it. I was like, I don't know how I feel about being in the spotlight or how I feel about that. Like, what am I gonna do for the talent? But then it was like I just looked at it as an opportunity for me to really like sit back and use the space for me to grow and also give people a better look into like who I was as a person and not just like my persona, but like more so like who was really Terran and like really connect with me on that level. So I went ahead and I applied, and it was very strenuous, like practice like every day, like we would go from like 7 to 10, and like I would go from work to there, and then like having to do homework and stuff and having to practice with the other contestants, and like just I have a habit of comparing myself to others as well. So just seeing their material and like sometimes feeling knocked down because like, dang, I know my stuff ain't really where it needs to be because they all the way up
and
here.
Look at you now. Look at you now.
Yeah, but inevitably it paid off, and I really have to give a big shout out to like my family and my friends as well. That really continued to push me when I was going through that situation, because there was many times, many nights I was just like, I don't know if this is worth it. Like I don't really know if I should like stay in. I don't know if I should just like drop out of the passion or whatever. But like I just stayed with it, and I was just like was really focused on the message that I wanted to get across to the community and like my overall goal for us as a whole on campus. And I pushed through and I persevered, and I ended up, taking the title.
Look at you, got the crown out here. So you said there was a talent portion.
There was.
We gotta know, what was your talent? You brought it up and thought I wasn't gonna double back to it.
Wow, put me on the spot. So the talent. This is the funny story. So I was up and down about my talent like the whole time. Like I was telling them like, yeah, yo, I think I'm gonna play the piano. Like, and I haven't, mind y'all, I have not played the piano in years. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna play the piano. I was not practicing or nothing. And like every practice, they would be like, Terran, what's your talent? I'm like, yeah, I'm playing the keys. And they was like, okay, you got to bring your piano to practice so we can hear you. I'm like, huh? And then they was like, okay, you bring a video, like a recording of you playing it. I'm like, huh? I'm like,
wasn't ready at all.
Not ready, so I'm like, okay, I gotta scrap this whole piano idea. So like, what can I do? So I just ended up singing in the pageant, and that was I ended up singing. Like I sing around the house all the time, but I've never sung in public up until the point I had to sing for the pageant. So it was really nerve-wracking.
What did you sing?
I sung I'm So Into You by Tamia.
Okay, I ain't gonna make you sing, but if you want to,
no, I'm good,
I ain't gonna make you do it.
For y'all, so but Childish Gambino, he actually did a cover to her song. It's on YouTube, and like I listened to it and I was really feeling it, so I tried to kind of do a rendition of that. But I mean, it was cool. I came out a cappella style, clapping the hands, moving through the crowd. So
now, you can't get us this hyped up if you ain't gonna do it. Nah, you can't get us this hyped up if we can't even see it. Like, do you got a video or like what's going on?
On her Facebook.
Oh, come on. She ain't gonna share that with us. That's you. All right, so you was out here singing and doing your thing. You then took the title. You was doubting yourself. Look at you now. You got the crown, literally. I seen the picture. You was in the crown. You got that. So what was the eligibility for Mr. Black MSU? Like the criteria.
Yeah, so basically, as far as I can remember, because it was a little off for the qualifications, but you basically had to write a personal statement, like I believe around 500 words or less, on like what the platform meant to you and like why you wanted to do it, and also what would you do with the platform if you were granted the platform. And I believe there was a GPA requirement as well. Don't quote me, but I want to say it was no, don't quote me, but I want to say it was at 2.5. I could be wrong. But it was also, what else? You also had to submit a resume as well. So for any you out there that was thinking about that, go to Michigan State, that you may want to do it next year. There's really not that much to it. It's very simple, actually. I believe you have to be you can be a freshman too and do it as well. So there's no like limit on like class standing. So like if you feel like you can do it, go ahead and do it. And also I feel like it's a great learning and growing experience as well. So not only do you grow as an individual, but the people that do the pageant with you, your fellow contestants, you all practice together. Y'all work together. So it's a great opportunity for you all to grow and expand and experience that growth together.
So do you know if somebody ran once or even won once, or could they again?
Well, no, look, if you were a contestant before, you can't run again. If you won, you can't run again. You can't be stealing shine. You can't be stealing all the clouds.
You gotta give everybody equal opportunity, I guess.
Yeah, but me, as well as India Young, she won Mrs. Black MSU. We were actually in charge of like coordinating the pageant for this upcoming year. So if anybody has any questions, you can reach out to either one of us and we can get you that information. But it should be really good. I'm excited to put my playing skills to the test.
Speaking about excited, how did you feel how did you find out that you won? Like, where were you when this information was dropped on you?
Well, it was a pageant, mind you. So like, we do like all the little separate sections of the pageant, and at the end they have us all on stage, and like they basically reveal the winner in front of everybody. So it was crazy. Like, I really did not, like, I ain't gonna say I didn't expect to win, because like, I've learned that like when you go into situations, you kind of have to put your best foot forward and like just put that confidence in yourself. So in the back of my mind, I was like, you got this, Terran. But of course it was always that voice in my head was like, I don't know, man.
Right, because you don't want to be too confident.
Yeah, you don't want to be too confident.
But you don't want to be confident enough.
Because like letdown sucks. And like you really think you got it and you don't pull it out, then you like, I don't know. So, but yeah, and also because it was like my fellow contestants were not bad at all. Like we were like neck and neck, I feel like. So because they are phenomenal individuals, and I feel like they did a great job as well. So even though I knew what I was bringing to the table and I was confident in that, I was also like they're bringing quality as well.
Right.
But when I found out, I was just shocked. Like I had like the biggest smile on my face, like, a big old check. I'm like,
oh, they gave you a check? Hold on.
They gave me a big old check, from black faculty and staff and alumni. So appreciate y'all.
Look at you. I ain't even know about that. I'm about to run.
Yeah,
Shoot.
It was a scholarship pageant. So of course, like we was putting all this money in, with the outfits and stuff like that. But I got a little.
It felt good to get reimbursed and then some. I feel you. Okay.
So, yeah, that was smooth.
So did you like have to write a speech for it or something? Like if you won?
Not if I won, but actually one of the sections of the pageant were introductions. So it was basically our spotlight for us, like who are we? So I basically did have to write a speech for that. So it was kind of like it's like a spoken word almost type thing, and that
so
took
you
a lot.
Do spoken word, you sing,
I'm
like
dang, I'm trying to be out here. I'm really trying to.
You do like public spoken word, like can you do that?
Not yet. It's really like it's stuff I write, but I'm actually coming together. I'm really trying to put forth like not spoken word, but open mic nights on campus for people in the Black community, and just to like come and share their stories, but do stuff like that.
I can bring the mics. You feel me? I got you.
Yes, I appreciate that.
I can record y'all. We about to make a whole TV. We about to go on the whole thing. All right. So another thing that I know you do is a podcast. So what's the name of your podcast? Let's get into the podcast.
Okay. So so this all stemmed from the pageant, mind y'all. So through the pageant, like it was very self-reflective, and like through that I learned a lot about myself and like really like my passion and what I want to do. So one of the things for the pageant was we had to give a presentation on a movement in history and a movement that we kind of wanted to implement. I'm like, what's something that I feel like people really don't see enough of, and that I feel like our community is lacking? And I felt like it was that individuality, us focusing more on monolithic experiences and not realizing the beauty, individuality and uniqueness within our own community, and like how multifaceted we really are. So I kind of wanted to create a platform where not only we discuss those things, but we empower and encourage people who, may not fit the mold of like, this is what a quote unquote like Black person should like act like or behave. Right. We kind of give them resources and materials to be like, this is, okay. And like, there's other people out here, that's doing their thing as well. And, you shouldn't feel no shame in that. So that's when I came up with the idea of the podcast called The Inner Circle, where me and a group of my friends, we just come in and centered around campus a lot. So we talk about like campus climate issues, but then we also put spins on there and we talk about mental health issues as well, and just self-care practices and like how people should take care of themselves, and just ultimately like just take care of the people around you. So taking care of each other as well.
And that's another trend I've been seeing that I actually like is self-care. Like a lot of people are getting really into that. See, I've been into self-care. I've been trying to help my people out, but now it's becoming a trend. So everybody said that's a trend I would like everybody to follow. Self-care.
Self-care is important. But you want to honestly give me some tips, because like I'm still new to like my self-care journey, because like it's something that I'm really now learning about, honestly, because I feel like a lot of times like growing up that really wasn't prioritized. So like now that I'm out on my own, like in college doing my thing, like I'm learning about it, but sometimes it's kind of hard because I'd be like, I gotta go to school, then I gotta go to work, and it's like I come home like I don't want to do nothing but just.
I feel that. See, it's really so like my mom and my grandma, they've been like big on self-care mentally, physically, and emotionally. So like when I think self-care, I think of it more so mental wise, like mental health self-care, because that's the thing that a lot of people struggle with. So like ways to deal with your emotions, ways to recognize them, like how to build that self-confidence, things like that. So like I learned that from like my mom and then my mom's mom. So it was like a big thing to me, but it took me a while to implement those types of things. Because at first you think, oh, this is stupid. Like, this isn't going to work, of course. And then, but like, once you really get into it, you like, it's not as stupid as I thought. Like, now I'm out here loving myself.
Yeah,
so
like a lot of people, they be lacking like emotional intelligence. Like, they really don't know how to process their own feelings, let alone like interpret how somebody else is feeling. Because that's like a whole nother crazy situation, but that's good though. But yeah, that's basically what the podcast is. Just, giving people those resources to kind of like build up, that self-confidence, those self-care practices, and also just, discuss the things that, we may see going on every day, but we don't really have that platform to talk about it, or like, certain things that, people want to talk about and they go through, but it's kind of taboo, and they kind of really don't feel comfortable addressing that. We want to talk about that, so.
I feel that. So how can people listen to your podcast?
So basically right now I'm using this app called Anchor, and it allows me to put it on the iTunes, like the actual app on your phone, like the podcast app. So you can go on the podcast app and listen. There's been some talk in the BSA realm, the Black Student Alliance realm, of getting an app together for, individuals to, do certain things. By the way, my fellow contestant in the pageant, he came up with that, Tyreek. He came up with the idea.
Shouts to you, Tyreek. Shouts to you.
He came up with that idea to use the app. We're basically just like the Black community on campus. They just have like this hub for just like all like these resources for people to go, and like what better way to do that than an app on your phone. So potentially having it on there as well, but that's what we're trying to do right now. We actually don't have any episodes out right now. We're trying to use the summertime to kind of plan and kind of figure out which segments that we really want to prioritize and the things that we want to discuss. So we should be recording those within like late June, early July.
So everybody be on the lookout for that. Yes, you can access it on your iPhone. I know about 99.9% of y'all got iPhones.
Yes, I'll be sure to give you the link too when we drop it.
I got you, because I'm going to for sure promote it. Y'all need this. Self-care, people. So with everything you just talked about and all the amazing things you're doing in the Black community and communities, period, can you think of the best advice somebody has given you so far? Like something you really utilize?
The best advice I would have to say it came from, so this past, like a few weeks ago, like right when we got out of school, I participated in this program at Michigan State called Leadership. And it's basically where they bring in like a lot of people that's like been like had leadership roles on campus that do big things to like this week-long thing. Like we go to like the Kellogg Biological Center, and like they teach us all this stuff. And basically like it gave me an opportunity to learn from different people like on a different level, because some of these people like I knew on campus, like I would see them every day or had conversations with them, but I really didn't know really how cool they were and how much they really had to offer. But while I was there, like one of them like just really preached and like touched on like being authentic, like authenticity and just being true to yourself. And that looks different to a lot of people, but I feel like it just really means, to me personally, it just means being true to like your thoughts and your opinions and like your own beliefs and defining those for yourself, and like not really allowing other people to like dictate, what things should mean to you or like things that you should value, but really taking the time to sit with yourself and really build those for yourself. So when you find yourself in situations, when you're around a lot of people, and sometimes, in life we're not always in the majority, sometimes we find ourselves in the minority, you can really lean back on your own understanding of things and your, that own code that you set for yourself yourself and, you know, be good regardless, and it doesn't really have to tamper, you know, with your emotional well-being, you know, when you find yourself being ostracized, you know, because you always aren't in the majority. Right. So I have to say authenticity.
Look at that. Sure. See, this is going to be a wake-up call for somebody, because I don't know if y'all noticed or if y'all even watched the video all the way through, but all the interviews I've done so far, that's like the main advice people can say they've been given that they follow through with is just be yourself, be authentic, be real.
It's important. And it's honestly like, and people like, I feel like people say that a lot, but, and I feel like people like when they hear that, like I want people to know that like by no means am I saying like it's that easy at all. And sometimes like people come at it in their own speeds, but I would just say like not to beat yourself up. Like I feel like awareness with any situation is like the biggest thing. So as long as you're aware of like what's going on, and like when you have yourself in situations like that, I feel like awareness is like will ultimately get you through the door. So I feel like, you know, just keep up with yourself. Like just be kind to yourself, speak good to yourself, and just you know, be on yourself, because like you are your biggest supporter at the end of the day. So I feel like as long as you have your back, and then like you know that, you know, you can get through anything. So
you and your mama are your biggest supporter. Right. I don't know about everybody else mama, but my mama support anything that I do, like
to a fault.
yeah, okay, let me say that. She support most things that I do. Like I could just tell her like, Mom, I'm about to build a rocket, like we about to fly to the moon one way or another. She gonna be like, you know what? Go ahead, baby. If you think you can build that rocket, go ahead, build your rocket.
Ain't nothing like a mother's love. Like
facts.
That's
facts.
Crazy. Yeah, because I know some people like they say they like, because love is so tricky. Like it's really tricky, but like that mother's love, like that's that unconditional love right there.
I think my mama is a big reason why I always have confidence in everything I do, because she just tell me all the time, like, you can do anything. And she was so right to an extent. But she was so right. Like most of the things I believe in, or most of the things that I want to do, I never doubt myself. Like I never just think, okay, I got this, but I never think you don't have this. Like it's like, why wouldn't you? Yeah. So shouts to you, Mom. All right. So with that being said, is there any advice that you could give somebody? Like, what's the best advice that you could offer anybody trying to do anything with their life?
The best advice that I could offer somebody to do anything, dang, that's not like a really deep psychological question. But I'm like thinking like, dang, what is something else?
Yeah, you can't use the advice somebody gave you. You got to use different advice. Your secondary advice that you would give somebody.
Okay, I would say, I got it. I would say be open-minded. I would say
I like that. I like that.
I believe that open-mindedness goes a very long way. Like I touched on earlier, like it's important to have your own morals and your own values intact, but then like not to the point where they hinder you from learning or gaining things from other people. Like you shouldn't be so set on something that like you won't budge, and like you feel like everything else is wrong. Right. Like you can have a stance on the situation, but still be open and receptive to other perspectives, and be able to respect those people's perspectives. So I feel like open-mindedness. Oh, that's a tough word. Open-mindedness. I feel like that's the key. So I feel like people should practice that more.
All right, that's all the questions I have for now, but no, I will be keeping up with you. So I want to thank you for coming. All of his information will be in the description box, so y'all can follow him on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. If you got all those social medias.
I do.
So we're going to be dropping.
Twitter, but I got everything else for y'all.
Okay, I don't have Twitter either. I did. I used to have. All right, that's off subject. So all of that will be in the description box. So do you have any questions for me? Any shout outs you want to give? This your time right now.
This my time. Okay,
let your people know you thinking about them.
I really ain't got nothing to say. I really don't.
You didn't got all that hype for nothing.
I'm really nervous, low key, but no.
But see this, but this went by fast though.
It did. It was a
look
reason.
At that.
The last question, like.
See, look.
But yeah,
you didn't even have a reason
I appreciate
to be
you
nervous.
for having me on. I do.
Thank you. All right, so this is Support My City. We taking over. First Detroit, then Romulus. No, first Detroit, then Taylor.
Yeah, okay.
Then Romulus, and then the world.
The world.
And we out.